please stand? Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Wtby Board of Education held at Wtby Arts Magnet School on December 2nd, 2015. I will now call the meeting to order and begin with the silent prayer. Please remember the victims and families of the senseless tragedies in San Bernardino, California and Colorado Springs, Colorado. And may God help us to end the violence in this country. Now I'll call on Commissioner Sweeney to say the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Harvey?
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez? Commissioner Pagano?
Here.
Vice President Rodriguez?
Here.
Commissioner Stango?
Here.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Here.
Commissioner Theriault?
Here.
Commissioner Jason Van Stone? Commissioner Tom Van Stone?
Present.
President Brown?
Here. Okay. There are no communications from the clerk. We have approval of the minutes. Does that need a vote? Yes. Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 8th, 2015 workshop?
Motion to approve the minutes as noted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, where's our public address? Could I have a motion for the public address?
Motion to suspend the regular order of business to hear from the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go to the public speaking portion of the meeting. All speakers are encouraged to submit prepared written statements to the commissioners. Comments shall be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. The chairman will disallow a speaker from continuing to speak if slanderous or defamatory remarks are made. There will be no responses this evening to any questions or concerns raised. They will be referred to the administration for review and response. Thank you for your cooperation. Isaiah Diaz.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is attorney Isaiah Diaz. I am a proud Latino and Waterbury homegrown person, and I still reside in the north end of Waterbury. No slander or defamation from me, don't worry. I'm also the former chairman of the State of Connecticut Latino and Puerto Rican Affairs Commission. I served as chairman for 4 years, proudly, and on behalf of the entire commission, its executive director, Warner Ollanadel, and its chairman, Richard Cruz, and also one of its current commissioners, Ruben Rodriguez, the commission would like to first of all commend the Board of Education for making history. It means a lot in our community when we have gentlemen such as Mr. Rodriguez elevate to the position of vice president. I think it's a testament to the caliber of work that he's done in the community and as well as amongst his colleagues. Myself and the entire board, which spans the state of Connecticut, would just like to lend our support and our commendations to the board for allowing this to happen. As you know, more than 50% of the student body here in Waterbury is Latino, and we also would like to offer our encouragement and support to now Vice President Felix Rodriguez. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Azard, please.
Lisa Lazard. Basically, I wanted to mention, I'm putting the parents' hat on and advocates' hat on. When it comes to Karen Harvey, as well as Charles Stango, I wanted to thank them for the service of president as well as vice president. I wanted to mention with Karen Harvey, she was there for each and all the children within district and out of district all the time. She didn't care if you were white, she didn't care if you were black, she didn't care if you were orange, purple, or green. She just cared that each child needed help within, and she was always there. And I heard from many parents today that couldn't be here, but wanted to let everybody know that she was accessible to them, She returned emails to them. She returned phone calls to them. And basically, I just want to let Felix Rodriguez know, congratulations, but you have big, huge shoes to fill. And we thank Karen Harvey for everything she did. We thank Charles Stango for everything they did. But I know they're still going to fight as much as they always did, and possibly even more now, for each and all the students within district and out of district. So I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations to the people that are now here. Now I'm putting my advocate's hat on. When it comes to bullying within the school system, being an advocate here in the city under special ed, and I'm not just talking about special ed this evening, I'm also talking about regular education. Bullying is defined as repeated use by one or more students of a written, oral, or electronic communication, such as cyberbullying, directed at or referring to another student attending school in the same school district, or a physical act of gestures by one or more students repeatedly directed at another student attending school in the same school district that causes physical or emotional harm to such students or damage to students' property, places physical harm. You know your own policy. And the only reason I'm reading this policy is because I'm hearing from a lot of regular educational students and parents and special educational parents and students that they're being bullied within their classrooms, and something needs to happen. Like your Board of Education Policy and Regulations 5002, Students Policy under Bullying. I was given to this by a parent this evening at my house in accordance to her child and other children within her school she knows are being bullied, but the policies are not being followed and they're not being attended to. And they're furious because it's their children that are being hurt. So I'm asking, begging, and pleading, please look into the bullying within your elementary schools, your middle schools, and your high schools, because the parents, as well as the children, need this so they can get a great, wonderful education going forward. I also wanted to mention, basically, going into some of your schools as a special educational advocate, I will also let you know under your policies that there's only 2 schools I've been in thus far, and I've been to many, that are taking the driver's license and putting them in their cards. 2 out of probably 13 I've been in. And basically, I can't believe if you have a policy, it's good for everybody, or it's not good for one. I was very pleased today when I showed up at a school and they actually asked for my driver's license. So I'm like, wow, out of 13 schools, 2 in the city since October, thank God. But each and every school within this district should be following the same policy, doing the same thing, or the policy means nothing. So can you please make sure that your policies get followed, look into them, and make sure for each and all the children within district that you're doing what you need to do, because they're getting hurt, physically harmed, and that's not okay. Thank you and God bless. And thank you, Karen, and thank you to Charles Stango, and keep up the good work, and congratulations to Felix and to Elizabeth Brown. Thank you.
Is that somebody that's, okay. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? Close this portion of the meeting.
Motion to return to the regular order of business.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Superintendent's announcements.
Thank you, Madam President. Gotta get used to that. A couple of quick announcements this evening. The Chief Academic Officer of the ILDs and myself attended a 2-day workshop on maximizing district coherence on Monday and Tuesday this week. The presenter was the prestigious Dr. Michael Fullen, professor at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education at the University of Toronto and special advisor at education to the Mayor of Ontario. He's currently working as an advisor and a consultant on several major education reform initiatives around the world, and bases his work on research and practice drawn from both public and private sectors. The 2-day session combined interactive learning and investigation with key strategies that integrate ideas with processes for change situations. It's a great institute, and we have a couple more days ahead of us in the spring. Just an update on the half-day professional development for teachers on December 2nd and 9th. including translating standards to practical classroom practices using digital resource tools such as Google Drive, which was great, aligning content to state frameworks, IAP development with a focus on identifying levels of performances, and designing appropriate intervention strategies for struggling students. Just update also on House action on reauthorization of ESEA. Is the Elementary Secondary Educational Act was expected today on December 3rd. It repeals the adequate yearly progress and replaces it with a statewide accountability system, which we have been preparing much in the way of with the last year or two. This framework replaces the one-size-fits-all adequate yearly progress, and as I said, most of the assessments you've been seeing with the growth model has been presented to this board through workshops, and I would look forward to many of these assessments also being shared with the board either through the curriculum meetings or workshops and or both. Just a couple of quick announcements. Kennedy High School's DECA students are sponsoring a Fill-A-Bus toy drive, which is fun, at the school on Saturday, December 5th from 9 a.m. to noon. And Saturday is also Waterbury Day at Bridgeport Sound Tigers. Proceeds from sales will benefit the Rod Dixon's Kids Marathon of Waterbury. And there will be a Know Your Numbers kickoff event for all staff on Kennedy High School on Tuesday, December 8th at 3 p.m. This event will feature a health fair, and a guest speaker is being sponsored by the city and Interactive Health as part of a health and wellness program for employees. And next Wednesday, December 9th, is an early dismissal for students. Just a reminder for the students, parents, and public, and middle schools will hold parent conferences. Other schools will conduct teacher collaboration, and elementary and high schools will hold parent conferences. Those were held yesterday. So I'm anticipating some numbers on turnout, and as well as middle schools held a teacher collaboration day. Just a final wrap-up. Thank you to the Educational Department for the generosity in the United Way campaign. To my understanding, there has been increased response, and I want to thank everyone for their generosity with this initiative. They give so much. So thank you, Madam President, and I will entertain any questions the board may have.
Are there any questions for the superintendent? Hearing none. First, I'd like to also say thank you to Commissioner Stango and Commissioner Harvey for their service, and I'd like everybody to join me in a round of applause for them. I would like to extend my congratulations to the newly elected commissioners and the entire board as we begin another 2-year term together. As your newly elected president, I look forward to working together on behalf of the students and families of Wtby. I'm very proud and humbled to serve the Waterbury School District and believe this board will continue the work of reform embedded in the Blueprint for Change under the leadership of Dr. Ouellette, together with the entire leadership staff, students, teachers, administrators, and the broader community. I look around at the members of this board and see the talent, dedication, and determination to make Waterbury the model for excellence in education for all of our students. I join with Mayor O'Leary in embracing change and setting the goal high for even better outcomes for students. As co-chair of the School Readiness Council, I know firsthand how access to quality preschool gives children in Waterbury the tools to close what I call the preparation gap. Our students can and do succeed. Expanding opportunity, augmenting early intervention services for struggling students, working closely with families, and providing teachers with the supports they need. This is the winning recipe for success. I embrace this challenge, and with your help, we can make it happen. And I'm very happy to see Principal Goby here. I was going to, very excited, in today's article in the paper regarding Crosby High School freshmen is a great example of the innovation and academic excellence going on in our schools. Kudos to the students and their exemplar teachers, Yolanda Lee, Eric Latronica, and Jeffrey Cabral for developing the Plastics, Polymers, and Pollution lesson that is a state finalist in Samsung Electronics Solve for Tomorrow contest. Efforts have already generated 2 tablet computers, and I'm confident they will win the grand prize of $20,000. Go Crosby! The level of our success is limited by our imagination, a poignant Aesop fable for the work ahead of us. Join me in a journey of imagination for our students to ensure each one succeeds in life, work, and society. Thank you for this great opportunity. Committee on School Personnel, Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you. Item 9.1, ladies and gentlemen, with the approval of the Committee on School Personnel, the Superintendent of School recommends approval of the appointment of Noreen E. Buckley as Instructional Leadership Director, effective December 7, 2015. Respectfully submitted and so moved.
Second.
Yes. Is there a discussion? Superintendent.
Thank you, Madam President. And I'm very pleased this evening to recommend to the Board of Education the approval of Mrs. Noreen Buckley for the position of Instructional Leadership Director. Mrs. Buckley's educational career began over 30 years ago as an elementary teacher at Bucks Hill School. During her tenure in Waterbury Public Schools, she has served as teaching vice principal, supervising vice principal, and most recently principal of Regan Elementary School since 2008. Noreen is passionate about student achievement and is a proven educational leader who has implemented initiatives and have improved teachers' instructional practices, yielding 63% of her students achieving goal. Also, Regan School accomplishments under her leadership ranks the school as one of the top elementary schools in the district. Mrs. Buckley's credentials includes her 92 license from the Southern Connecticut State University, master's degree at Southern Connecticut State University in Special Education, Bachelor's of Science at Central Connecticut State University in Elementary and Special Education. Her professional affiliations and activities include member of the Standard-Based Report Card Committee, the Teacher Evaluation and Assessment Committee, and is currently enrolled in the Coaching Consortium. Throughout the process, I have to tell you, Mrs. Buckley was the #1 candidate and top candidate in all 3 types of the screenings. This is a very, very rigorous process, and Mrs. Buckley has certainly exceeded with the scores and certainly was top in all 3 times. So I'm pleased to present to the board this evening for consideration Mrs. Noreen Buckley as Instructional Leadership Director.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Commissioner Van Stone.
Thank you, Madam President, through you. I kind of wish we had a 9.01 on the agenda tonight because my comments are a little different than we would normally do prior to a new hire. So unfortunately, who had to go first? Someone had to go first. So keep in mind that where I'm going with this is very general. I've been on record for quite some time that I would like to see 3 ILDs in place of 4. And I have my reasons, because if I did not approve of this position, I would advocate for 0. We have a thing in where I work called opportunity, and we go out to people who own budget and we look for opportunity to spend money on other areas which may have either underestimated their money or underestimated the amount of work to be done. And I've had this conversation with a number of folks about my words opportunity. It's not saying that I do not want positions filled necessarily. I would like the opportunity to review those dollars and spend them elsewhere. Whatever that elsewhere is, that would have to be a conversation for later. So this is a hard decision for me tonight. Because of this, and another reason I will bring up, I will not necessarily be voting with the people in mind, but I'll be voting on some principles that I have spoken very loudly about in the past. So please, both candidates tonight, do not take any of this as anything towards an individual. I've spoken out in the past about a lot of things, but one of them was also board policy, which we never seem to get back to our board policies when we talk to them. And I bring this up all the time. We talk a good talk on the night of a policy that may or may not have been broken, but may show that we're not really thinking about the policy. And I want to say also to what the superintendent said, I have 100% confidence in the selection committee. I unfortunately did not have an opportunity to sit in on any of the steps, but I have 100% confidence in the committee that made the decision that we're going to hear about tonight. Absolute confidence. And whatever happens here tonight, the folks will have my absolute 100% backing for the work they do. But we do have a policy that we brought up just about a year ago when we actually hired the principal for the building we're in here at WAMS. And we made note, and it was publicly announced, that one of the teachers here at WAMS when she was hired was her brother. Now, the reason I have difficulties with our policies is because we use the word shall on a few occasions, but we also say things like whenever possible. And in my terms, those kind of words mean it's a procedure and not a policy. So tonight, I do have to make mention that our policy 4112.8 and 4212.8 has to do with nepotism. And we have to be very careful with this. We never should not hire someone just because of their bloodline. But then again, we have a policy in place to avoid these situations. So my task to all of us is our New Year's resolution needs to be that we review every single one of our policies to make sure it's clear and that is truly a policy and not a procedure. I asked for this over a year ago, and we have not met on it once. And it seems to be that I'm a broken record to say we've said we're going to review things, and then we don't. I think I said the same thing just 2 or 3 meetings ago on a different matter. So we really need to review our policies so we don't put ourselves in a position, and in this case tonight put me in a position that I need to make a vote that has unfortunately nothing to do with the people that will probably do a very fine job, and I have 100% confidence they will. And I think I said that last year with the WAMS hire. I had all the confidence in the world in the hire, but we're not to the word following our policies, and we need to do so. The citizens of Wtby expect us to, and we need to do that. So again, I will certainly congratulate and welcome any decisions that are made here tonight, but for the reasons I just stated, I will need to vote no on both positions. Thank you, Madam President.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Harvey?
Thank you. Well said, Commissioner Van Stone, but I'm going to vary from, I agree with what you're saying, but I'm going to vary slightly. And Mrs. Buckley, I wish you the best of luck. Anything you need, anything I can help you with, I'm there for you. But I think there's a need to look at, I question why 4 ILDs, why not 3? And I think that question needs to be answer, so I'm going to answer it for myself. I think the special ed department, we need to devote the money towards that for assistance for our kids, for resources there, as opposed to having 3 ILD positions. Commissioner Van Stone, I had issues with the process, and I'm not going to express them here, but I had issues with the process. So what I'm going to do is, again, I sat through all, with the exception, level 1, level 2 process. Again, Mrs. Buckley, I wish you the best of luck, but I'm going to select it as if there were 3 openings. So I will be voting no. For that reason, has no reflection really on your talents, but I just felt that there was someone that edged you a little bit. So I just wanted you to know why I was voting no. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Harvey?
No.
Commissioner Pagano?
Yes.
Vice President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Stango?
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Yes.
Commissioner Theriault?
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Van Stone?
No.
President Brown?
Yes. Would the clerk please read the tally?
6-2, motion passes.
Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you, Madam President, Vice President Rodriguez, Commissioners, Dr. Ouellette, for affording me this wonderful opportunity. I look forward and I'm very excited to serve as an ILD in the Waterbury Public School System. I have, again, served Waterbury for over 30 years, and I would like to take a moment to recognize all of my staff and colleagues that have come out this evening to support me, and I'd like everyone to give them a round of applause for making me a better leader and being able to take on this new challenge in my career. Thank you again, and I look forward to working with all of you closely, and my motto is every child, every day, all day. Thank you.
Noreen.
Glasses here.
Thank you. Moving on to 9.2.
Item 9.2, ladies and gentlemen, with the approval of the Committee on School Personnel, the Superintendent of School recommends approval of the appointment of Paul A. White as Instructional Leadership Director, effective December 7th, 2015. Respectfully submitted and so moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Superintendent.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm very pleased again to recommend to the Board of Education the approval of Mr. Paul White for the position of Instructional Leadership Director. Mr. White's education and career began over 22 years ago in both traditional and non-traditional education settings. He began as a teacher, manager of educational programs, principal of a K-8 public school in Bridgeport, and for the past 2 years as supervisor of turnaround schools here in Waterbury. Paul is passionate about education and spends a great deal of time focusing on systematic change and improving low-performing schools. Mr. White's credentials include a 92 certification from Sacred Heart University, Masters of Education in Harvard Administration, Planning and Social Policy, Bachelor's Association of Yale University in Psychology, and he's currently working on his doctorate in education through the Urban Educators Leadership Program at Columbia University. He belongs to numerous professional and service organizations. Mr. Wright has also received numerous honors and awards for his outstanding community service, and I'm very pleased to present Mr. Paul White as our next Instructional Leadership Director. Thank you, Madam President.
Any discussion? Commissioner Harvey?
Thank you. Mr. White, I am so glad that you are here in this district. I think the credentials that were read, Yale University, Columbia, Harvard, that's a role model for our kids. And I just want you to know, as with all the ILDs, that you have my support, continued support. And thank you again for coming to this district.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Harvey?
Yes.
Commissioner Pagano?
Yes.
Vice President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Stango?
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeney?
Yes.
Commissioner Theriault?
Yes.
Commissioner Tom Vanstone?
Yes.
President Brown?
Yes.
8-0, motion.
Motion carries.
President Brown, Vice President Rodriguez, commissioners, colleagues, and the community at large. I am honored and grateful to be selected to serve Waterbury Schools in this new capacity. Working in Waterbury has codified my belief that every child can learn and every child deserves the best opportunities for his or her future. I'm thrilled to continue the work to make these bright futures a reality. Excuse me. I look forward to continuing the work that has to be done and has begun at Walsh and Crosby, and excited to bring support to additional schools. As a community of lifelong learners, we, the educators, the parents, every caring adult, and the students must take part and commit ourselves to continuous improvement in order to help our students strive in this ever-changing world. Bolstering professional development, professional practice, and supporting effective school leadership are important elements of the work to reach the educational outcomes that Waterbury community seeks. Tonight, I reaffirm my commitment to do just that for the Waterbury community. Thank you.
Yes. Commissioner Vanstone?
You have to, if there's such a thing as retract, I apologize. I got caught up in a moment, and to show how much I support the ILDs, I voted yes there, and I would like to change that vote to no if that's possible, Clerk.
So noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to 10.1, call on Commissioner Rodriguez.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the approval of the Committee on Curriculum, the Superintendent of Schools recommends permission to be granted to L. Graham, Kennedy High School, and 4 chaperones to take 45 students to New York, New York on December 4th, 2015 to visit the New York Financial District and Ground Zero. Respectfully submitted, Dr. Olet.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion?
Discussion.
I'm voting no.
Okay. Any other discussion?
That's the vote, or are you having a discussion?
Any other discussion?
Call again.
Go ahead. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Got the opposed? Okay. The motion carries. Thank you. Committee on School Facilities and Grounds. Commissioner Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Vice President.
The cover letter. The cover letter. Ladies and gentlemen, with the approval of the Committee on School Facilities and Grounds, the Superintendent of Schools recommend approval of the use of school facilities at no charge by the following school organizations and/or city departments. Respectfully submitted, Dr. Kathleen Olet.
Second.
All in favor?
Discussion.
I'm sorry, discussion, I'll get it straight soon. Discussion? Commissioner Harvey?
I hate to do this, but is this motion, don't you have to move the motion forward by saying that, you move the motion forward? So moved? At the end, I thought that moves the motion
Okay.
forward, so,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay?
We'll try to do better. Thanks.
Okay, but is this motion moved?
The
I mean,
motion
that's-
was, say moved.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay.
Motion to receive and place on file superintendent's notification to the board as listed.
Second?
Okay, we're going to,
We need a vote. We need a vote.
for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. All right, do we do the 12.2? Adult ed? No, that's okay. Number 13, unfinished business of preceding meeting only. Hearing none. On 14, other unfinished new and miscellaneous business. 15, executive session. Commissioner Sweeney?
Motion to convene into executive session for discussion concerning the appointment, employment, performance evaluation, health, or dismissal of a public officer or employee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.